Toyota just dropped 5 brand new SUVs for 2026, and choosing the wrong one could cost you $10,000 and years of regret. From a $33,000 hybrid that rewrites the rulebook to a flagship full-size monster that tows nearly 10,000 pounds, this lineup covers everything. But each one is built for a very different buyer. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 2026 Toyota was made for your life. Let's break them all down. 5 Toyota SUVs. 5 completely different purposes, and one lineup that covers more ground, literally and figuratively, than almost any other brand in 2026. Today we're going deep on the RAV4, the 4Runner, the Highlander, the Grand Highlander, and the Sequoia. We'll cover performance, interior, cargo space, fuel economy, pricing, and most importantly, who each one is actually built for. Whether you're a daily commuter, a family road tripper, a weekend off-roader, or someone who needs to tow a boat every summer, there's a Toyota here for you. The key is knowing which one. Let's start with the smallest and most affordable and work our way up. 2026 Toyota RAV4. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 is not a refresh. It is not a facelift. It is a complete ground-up redesign, and Toyota made one move that changes everything about this car. They killed the gasoline-only engine entirely. Starting in 2026, every single RAV4 you can buy comes with either a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid powertrain. There is no base gas model anymore. And honestly, that's the right call. The standard RAV4 hybrid makes up to 236 horsepower when equipped with all-wheel drive, which adds a third electric motor on the rear axle. No drive shaft, no mechanical transfer case. Just instant, silent torque sent to all 4 wheels whenever the system needs it. 0 to 60 miles per hour, 7.1 seconds. That's quicker than the old model, and it puts the RAV4 right in the mix with competitors that cost significantly more. Now here's the number that should really get your attention. In real-world highway driving at 75 miles per hour, the all-wheel drive RAV4 hybrid returned 36 miles per gallon. The EPA's combined estimate is up to 43 miles per gallon in the most efficient front-wheel drive trims. For a 5-passenger family SUV, that is an extraordinary number. And if you need even more capability, the plug-in hybrid version steps up to 320 horsepower with a claimed electric driving range of 52 miles per charge. Toyota says you can charge the battery from 10 to 80% in as little as 30 minutes on a DC fast charger, though that's only available on certain trims, so check the spec sheet before you buy. Inside, the 2026 RAV4 gets a genuinely fresh interior. A 10.5-inch infotainment screen is now standard, larger than before, alongside a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. The system supports wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and Bluetooth connections for 2 phones simultaneously. A head-up display is available on higher trims. Cargo space is practical and well-proportioned. 10 carry-on suitcases fit behind the rear seats. Fold those seats down and you're looking at 24 cases. For a compact SUV, that's excellent use of the space. Pricing starts at $33,495, making it the most accessible entry point in this entire lineup. The 2026 RAV4 is the right choice for the everyday driver, the commuter, the growing family that does school runs, grocery hauls, and the occasional weekend getaway. If you want maximum fuel efficiency, a modern interior, and Toyota's legendary long-term reliability, all at the lowest price in this lineup, the RAV4 is where you start. One honest note, the gasoline engine does get noticeably loud when pushed hard. Under normal driving it's refined, but when you floor it, you'll hear it. Small trade-off for everything else this car delivers. 2026 Toyota 4Runner. The Toyota 4Runner has one of the most loyal fan bases of any vehicle on the road today. People buy multiple 4Runners. They hand them down through families. There are online communities dedicated entirely to this truck. And with the 2026 model, Toyota gave those fans exactly what they've been waiting for, a real performance upgrade. Gone is the old V6 that served the 4Runner for years. In its place, a turbocharged 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine making 278 horsepower. That's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and 0 to 60 comes up in 7.5 seconds for the 4-wheel drive model. That's not a supercar number, but it's a meaningful improvement, and the torque delivery is far more useful on a trail than the old engine's power curve ever was. But the engine is almost secondary. What makes the 4Runner special is its platform. This is a body-on-frame, truck-based SUV, built on the same bones as the Tacoma midsize pickup. It comes with a proper 2-speed transfer case, an optional locking rear differential, optional disconnecting stabilizer bars for better articulation on technical terrain, and an off-road cruise control system that manages throttle and braking on low-speed trails automatically. Maximum towing capacity is 6,000 pounds, stronger than a Jeep Wrangler. For those who want to push even further into the backcountry, there is a 4Runner hybrid available with additional off-road equipment, including manually adjustable dampers. But even the standard model will get you places most crossovers can only dream about. Inside, the 4Runner shares its dashboard layout with the Tacoma, and that's not a criticism. Everything is logically placed, durable, and built to survive the kind of adventures this truck is designed for. An 8-inch infotainment screen is standard, with an optional 14-inch display on higher trims. All models include wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto USB-C ports and a digital key system that lets drivers lock, unlock, and start the vehicle through a smartphone app. There's an optional third-row seat, genuinely useful for kids or occasional extra passengers, though adults will find it tight. Cargo bay holds 3 carry-on bags with seats up. Fold them and you get 29. Real-world fuel economy at 75 miles per hour came in at 21 miles per gallon for the 4-wheel drive Limited. The EPA estimates 22 combined, reasonable for what this truck is. The 2026 4Runner is not trying to be everything to everyone. It is purpose-built for people who go off-road not occasionally but regularly. The weekend adventurer, the overlander, the buyer who looks at a Forest Service road and sees an invitation rather than a warning. Starting at around $58,850 in a well-equipped configuration, it's a premium price for a genuinely specialized capability. If that sounds like you, nothing in this lineup competes with the 4Runner on its home turf. 2026 Toyota Highlander. The 2026 Toyota Highlander is a 3-row family SUV that does everything competently and almost nothing exceptionally. That sounds like a criticism. In some ways it is. But for a large portion of buyers, competent, comfortable, and reliable is exactly the brief. For 2026, Toyota made 2 notable changes. All-wheel drive is now standard across the entire Highlander lineup, no more choosing between front drive and AWD. And the base LA trim has been discontinued, meaning the new starting price is $47,465. Under the hood sits the same 265 horsepower turbocharged 2.4-liter 4-cylinder found in the Grand Highlander, paired with an 8-speed automatic and standard all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 takes 7.2 seconds. The ride is smooth and settled. Steering is light and predictable. This is not a car that raises the pulse on a twisty road, but that was never the point. Fuel economy is one of the Highlander's genuine strengths. The EPA rates it at 21 city and 28 highway. In real-world highway testing at 75 miles per hour, a Highlander XSE returned an impressive 30 miles per gallon, better than the EPA estimate. For a 3-row all-wheel drive SUV, that number is hard to argue with. The interior is well-organized and built with quality materials throughout. The driver's seat is comfortable on long drives, and the first 2 rows offer genuine adult-sized space. Second-row passengers get good legroom, and buyers can choose between captain's chairs or a bench seat, with the bench option pushing capacity to 8 passengers. The third row, however, tells a different story. Legroom is limited. Adults will be uncomfortable. Toyota's own materials recommend reserving it for children. Cargo space behind the third row is 23 cubic feet, enough for 5 carry-on suitcases. Fold the third row and that expands considerably. It's functional but not class-leading. The infotainment system starts at an 8-inch screen on lower trims and steps up to a 12.3-inch display on the Limited and Platinum. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto are standard across the range, as is a wireless charging pad. Here's the honest assessment. The Highlander is a sensible, well-rounded 3-row SUV, but it exists in a difficult position. Its larger sibling, the Grand Highlander, offers more interior space, a usable third row for adults, significantly more cargo capacity, and a lower starting price in most configurations. So who genuinely benefits from choosing the Highlander? Buyers who prioritize a smaller exterior footprint. If you live in a dense city, park in tight urban garages, or regularly navigate narrow streets, the Highlander's more compact dimensions are a legitimate advantage. It's also slightly lighter, making it a bit more agile in everyday driving. But if size isn't a constraint, the next vehicle in this lineup makes a stronger case for your money. 2026 Toyota Grand Highlander. The 2026 Toyota Grand Highlander is without question the most interesting value story in this entire lineup. And Toyota's own press materials acknowledge something remarkable. In all but the top Platinum trim, the Grand Highlander is larger than the regular Highlander and less expensive. More space, lower price, the same powertrain, it shouldn't make sense. And yet here we are. Starting at $43,455, the Grand Highlander undercuts the Highlander's $47,465 base price by over $4,000. And what does that lower price buy? More of everything. The Grand Highlander is built on a longer wheelbase and wider body than the standard model. That extra size pays dividends where families need it most: passenger space and cargo capacity. The third row, the most common complaint about three-row SUVs, is genuinely usable by full-grown adults in the Grand Highlander. There is adequate legroom and headroom for 6-foot passengers. That alone separates it from most competitors in the class, including its smaller sibling. Cargo capacity is where the Grand Highlander truly separates itself. With all seats folded flat, there are 98 cubic feet of cargo space, approaching the cargo room of a Sienna minivan. Keep the third row up and there are still 21 cubic feet behind it. In real-world suitcase testing, 6 carry-ons behind the third row, 20 with the third row folded, and 36 with both rear rows stowed. Those are minivan numbers in an SUV body. Power comes from the same 265 horsepower turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder mated to an 8-speed automatic. All-wheel drive is available on every trim and comes standard on the top Platinum. 0 to 60, 7 seconds flat, a tenth quicker than the regular Highlander. Real-world fuel economy is strong. In highway testing at 75 miles per hour, the AWD XLE returned 29 miles per gallon, roughly 10% better than its EPA highway estimate. Maximum towing capacity is 5,000 pounds. Inside, every Grand Highlander comes with a 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen running Toyota's latest software. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and a 6-speaker stereo are all standard. Step up to the Limited or Platinum, and the infotainment gains an 11-speaker JBL stereo and a fully digital instrument cluster. Toyota Safety Sense 3 comes on every trim, covering adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, lane centering assist, blind spot monitoring, road sign recognition, and automatic high-beam headlamps. All of it standard, not optional. Seating accommodates 7 or 8 passengers depending on the second-row configuration, captain's chairs or bench. The Grand Highlander is the recommendation for almost every family-focused buyer in this lineup. It combines genuine third-row usability, near minivan cargo space, strong fuel economy, a comprehensive tech package, and Toyota's 3-year or 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 2 years of complimentary scheduled maintenance included at no extra cost. At a starting price that is actually lower than the vehicle it outsizes, the value case is nearly impossible to argue against. If a family is choosing between the Highlander and the Grand Highlander and size is not a concern, the Grand Highlander wins on almost every metric. 2026 Toyota Sequoia. And then there's the Sequoia, Toyota's full-size flagship SUV. And in 2026, it remains one of the most unique vehicles in the full-size class, because unlike the Chevrolet Tahoe with its V8 or the Ford Expedition with its twin-turbo V6, the Toyota Sequoia is available exclusively as a hybrid. Every single 2026 Sequoia comes standard with the iForce Max hybrid powertrain, a twin-turbocharged 3.4-liter V6 paired with an electric motor producing a combined output of 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. That is not a small number. That is a lot of truck. And the performance reflects it. The four-wheel drive capstone Sequoia reaches 60 miles per hour in 5.6 seconds. The quarter mile comes up in 14.3 seconds at 94 miles per hour. For context, that's quicker than the GMC Yukon Denali, from a 6,000-plus pound full-size family SUV. Yet the EPA still rates the rear-wheel drive Sequoia at 21 city and 24 highway. The four-wheel drive version drops slightly to 19 city and 22 highway. Compare that to the V8-powered Tahoe, and the Sequoia's fuel economy advantage is substantial. Towing capacity ranges from 8,980 pounds on the four-wheel drive capstone to 9,520 pounds on the rear-wheel drive SR5. That comfortably tops the Chevrolet Tahoe at 8,400 pounds, and just edges past the Ford Expedition at 9,300. A tow technology package with a digital rearview mirror and an on-screen trailer backup guide is optional on base trims and standard on upper trims. A load-leveling rear suspension is available on the Platinum and Capstone. For buyers who want to go off-road, the TRD Pro trim brings upgraded Fox dampers, a front skid plate, a locking rear differential, and forged 18-inch wheels wrapped in 33-inch all-terrain tires. Four-wheel drive is standard on the TRD Pro. And for 2026, Toyota is offering a special paint color called Wave Maker, a bright aquamarine blue exclusive to TRD Pro models. For buyers who want factory off-road credibility without custom builds, the TRD Pro checks every box. Lesser trims can also be ordered with the TRD off-road package, which adds hill descent control, Toyota's crawl control system, and a locking rear differential at a more accessible price point. Interior appointments span a wide range across the Sequoia's trim levels, from functional cloth upholstery on the SR5 to the new textured leather found in the 2026 Capstone. Higher trims offer heated and cooled second-row seats, a panoramic sunroof, premium audio, and a 14-inch infotainment touchscreen with Toyota's latest software. All driver assistance features come standard across the board on the Sequoia: forward collision warning, automated emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, and adaptive cruise control. No package required. But there is a trade-off that buyers should understand before writing the check. The Sequoia uses a solid rear axle, and that axle intrudes on third-row space. As a result, the third row is cramped, even in a vehicle this size. And with that third row in use, cargo space behind it is just 12 cubic feet. The Toyota Grand Highlander, which starts $24,000 less, actually offers more usable passenger and cargo space in everyday family use. The Sequoia's advantages are specifically towing capacity, full-size presence, powertrain performance, and TRD Pro off-road capability. If any of those are priorities, the Sequoia justifies its price, which starts at $67,220 and climbs to $87,630 at the top. The Sequoia is also the only vehicle in this lineup with hybrid component coverage extending to 10 years or 150,000 miles, a significant long-term ownership consideration. So which one do you actually buy? 5 vehicles. 5 very different answers to the same question. What does the right SUV look like for your life in 2026? The RAV4 is the smart buy for value-focused buyers and daily commuters. A full redesign, hybrid-only powertrains, and a starting price under $34,000 make it the most accessible and arguably the most forward-thinking vehicle in the lineup. The 4Runner is for the serious off-roader, not the occasional dirt road, the actual trail. Its truck-based platform, available locking differential, and 2-speed transfer case deliver genuine capability that no crossover in this class can match. The Highlander is a solid family SUV for buyers who need a smaller exterior footprint, ideal for dense urban environments, tight parking garages, and city driving. But in most other scenarios, the vehicle that follows on this list makes a stronger case. The Grand Highlander is the best overall value in the 2026 Toyota lineup. A lower starting price than the regular Highlander, more cargo space than the regular Highlander, a third row that adults can actually sit in, and all the tech and safety features a modern family could want standard. For most family buyers, this is the answer. And the Sequoia earns its place at the top for a specific kind of buyer. The person who tows over 8,000 pounds, wants a TRD Pro-ready off-road rig, or needs full-size presence for a large family with real cargo demands. At its price point, the hybrid powertrain and towing capacity make it genuinely competitive against anything in the full-size class. Toyota built 5 very different tools for 2026. The right one depends entirely on what you're building your life around. Which Toyota would you pick? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more.